All right, everyone, welcome to another deep dive. And today we're going to be taking a look at car insurance.
Ooh, excited.
Specifically for young drivers in the UK navigating those sometimes pretty tricky roads.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I know what you're thinking, car insurance.
Not exactly.
The most riveting topic.
A page turner.
But stick with us because we're going to try and make it fun. We're going deep into an article that I found from My Insurance Advice UK.
Okay.
Really to make this whole thing way less intimidating and help you guys find the best deals.
That's the goal.
And avoid emptying your wallet every single month.
Especially as a young driver, it could be very expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's kick things off with probably the biggest question on everyone's mind. Why is car insurance such a budget killer?
Why?
Especially for those of us who are, let's say,
Young, sprightly.
Young and fresh behind the wheel.
Fresh-faced.
We're not exactly rolling in dough yet.
No, we're not.
So why is it so expensive?
Well, the article points to 3 key reasons. The first one being a lack of experience.
Okay.
Insurers love data.
Yeah.
And when you're new to the driving scene, they don't have a lot to go on.
Right.
So that lack of track record makes them see you as a bit of a gamble, shall we say.
Yeah.
So they hike up those premiums to offset that perceived risk.
So it's like being a rookie in a video game. You haven't leveled up your driving skills yet.
You've got to get the XP.
So the game, or in this case, the insurance company,
Yes.
throws a bunch of extra challenges your way.
Exactly like that.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, so lack of experience, that's one.
And then adding on to that, the cold hard statistics are that young drivers,
Oh, no.
particularly those under 25, are more likely to be involved in accidents.
Right. Okay, so I can see how that would make insurers a little bit nervous.
Just a tad.
But hey, shouldn't safe driving habits kind of counteract that?
Absolutely.
If we can demonstrate that we are good drivers,
Yes.
shouldn't that be reflected in the premiums?
100%.
We'll get into those strategies a bit later.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I can see how that statistic makes them a little bit nervous.
Definitely.
What's the third reason then?
The third reason is the type of car that you're driving.
Okay.
Think sporty high-performance models,
Huh.
the kind that make your heart race,
Yeah.
but also send those insurance premiums soaring.
So like champagne taste on a beer budget situation.
It is. It really is.
Yeah, you want those flashy rides, but
Yeah.
maybe not quite yet.
Not just yet.
Yeah. Okay, so why those cars though?
Because they tend to be more expensive to repair or replace.
Right.
They're attractive to thieves, unfortunately.
Okay.
And some of it, let's be honest,
Yeah.
they're associated with, well,
A little bit more.
spirited driving.
Spirited driving.
So
yeah.
all of that adds up
Yeah.
to higher insurance costs.
Okay, so a combination of inexperience,
Yes.
statistical risk,
Uh-huh.
and the allure of a head-turning vehicle.
Sadly.
Okay, so before we dive into all the money-saving tips, because we're going to get to those, I promise,
We will.
let's break down the types of car insurance available in the UK. What are our options?
Okay, so the article outlines 3 main types of coverage
Okay.
you'll come across in the UK. The first one is third-party insurance,
Okay.
which is the legal minimum you need to drive on UK roads.
Right.
It covers damage you might cause to someone else's car or property in an accident.
So it's like a safety net for everyone else, but not necessarily for your own car.
Exactly that.
Right.
Okay. It is the most budget-friendly option,
Okay.
but it does leave you financially exposed if you're at fault in an accident.
Okay.
You'd be responsible for covering your own repairs,
Right.
which could be very expensive,
Yeah, especially if you're driving a brand new car or a new-ish car.
especially.
That sounds risky,
Yeah.
especially for someone just starting out.
Yeah.
What if we bump up the coverage a bit? What's next?
Okay. So moving out the ladder, we have third-party fire and theft,
Okay.
as the name suggests.
Yeah.
It adds cover for damage to your car caused by fire or theft.
Okay, so it's like third party,
Yeah.
plus a bit of extra peace of mind.
Yeah.
If your car goes up in flames
Or get stolen.
or gets stolen.
Yeah.
Okay, but what if we want the full shebang?
Okay.
What if we want the ultimate protection?
The big one.
The insurance equivalent of a suit of armor?
You're talking about comprehensive.
Yes, comprehensive.
This is the most extensive cover you can get.
Okay.
It includes everything in third-party fire and theft.
Right.
Plus, it covers damage to your own vehicle, even if you're at fault
Okay.
in an accident.
So the premium option for
This is protection.
premium protection.
That's the one.
But I bet it comes with a price tag to match.
It does come with a slightly higher price tag, but
Yeah.
you get what you pay for.
Okay, so we've got the lay of the land.
We do.
We know our options.
Yes.
Now let's get to the good stuff.
The good stuff.
The strategies for shrinking those premiums.
Yes.
And keeping more cash in our pockets. Okay, so we've laid the groundwork. We've explored our options. And now it's time to get down to brass tacks.
Yes.
Unlock that treasure chest of money-saving tips and tricks.
Let's do it.
What's the first gem that the article offers up?
Okay, so the first strategy is all about making smart choices right from the start.
Okay.
Choosing a car that's, well, let's say insurance friendly.
Okay, so those souped-up sports cars with all the bells and whistles might have to wait a little while.
Well, not necessarily. It's more about understanding how car characteristics impact insurance premiums.
Okay.
So opting for a car with a smaller engine,
Right.
fewer fancy features, and a solid safety record can really lower those insurance costs.
So it's not just about the cool factor.
Not just about the cool factor.
It's about choosing a ride that's both stylish and sensible.
Absolutely.
But what about those of us who already have a car?
Yes.
Are we stuck with sky-high premiums?
Not at all. There are still plenty of levers you can pull to bring those costs down.
Okay, good.
The article suggests adjusting your excess, which is the amount you agree to pay out of pocket if you make a claim.
So the higher the excess, the lower the monthly premiums.
That's the trade-off.
Sounds like a tempting deal.
It can be, but it's crucial to find that sweet spot.
Okay.
Don't set it so high that you can't afford to pay it if you do need to make a claim.
Right.
It's all about striking that balance between potential savings and your financial capacity.
So it's a calculated risk.
It is.
Lower premiums now, but potentially higher costs later if something happens.
Exactly.
Okay, makes sense. What other strategies does the article highlight?
This is an interesting one. Adding an experienced driver to your policy.
Okay.
So this could be a parent, a guardian, someone with a proven track record of safe driving.
Right.
It signals to insurers that you have someone looking out for you, someone to provide guidance.
Yeah.
And hopefully keep those fender benders at bay.
So it's like having a driving mentor in your corner, vouching for your skills and responsibility. But hold on, what if my parents have a, shall we say, colorful driving history?
Ah, good question.
Would that backfire and actually increase my premiums?
That's a great question, and it highlights the importance of considering all angles.
Okay.
Adding a driver with a less than stellar record could actually work against you.
Right.
So assess the potential impact before making any changes.
Do your research, people.
Exactly.
Okay, careful consideration is key. Don't want any surprise premium hikes.
Definitely not.
All right, what else does the article suggest?
Now, this next one might be a bit controversial, but it's worth exploring.
Ooh, I like a bit of controversy.
Have you ever heard of black box insurance, also known as telematics insurance?
Is that the one where they track your every move like a little spy in your car?
You're on the right track.
I've heard whispers about this.
Yes, they install a device in your car that monitors your driving habits.
Okay.
It tracks things like your speed, braking, acceleration, even the times you drive.
Whoa.
Big Brother is watching.
Sounds a little bit intense. Yeah. Is it worth sacrificing some privacy for potentially lower premiums?
That's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
On the surface, it might seem like an invasion of privacy.
Yeah.
But for young drivers, especially those confident in their safe driving habits,
right,
it can be a game changer.
Okay.
It allows you to prove to the insurance company that you're a responsible driver.
Right.
Which can lead to significantly lower premiums.
So it's like having a personal driving coach in your car.
Yes.
Analyzing your every move and rewarding you for good behavior.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see the appeal in that, especially since young drivers are kind of stereotyped as reckless.
Often unfairly.
Exactly. So this is our chance to break free from those generalizations.
Exactly.
And prove that we are actually good drivers.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing there's a but?
There is a but.
Okay.
Some providers might penalize you for driving late at night or in certain areas.
Right.
Even if you're doing everything by the book.
Okay.
So do your research.
Yeah.
Understand the specific policies before opting for black box insurance.
Okay, so knowledge is power.
It really is.
Weigh the potential benefits against those privacy implications.
Yes.
And choose a provider that aligns with our driving habits and comfort levels.
100%.
What other money-saving strategies does the article offer up?
Okay, so for those of you who don't drive very often, perhaps you're students.
Right.
You rely on public transport. The article highlights pay-per-mile insurance.
Okay.
It's exactly what it sounds like. You pay for the miles that you drive.
So it's like a pay-as-you-go phone plan, but for your car.
Exactly.
Okay, I can see how that would be a fair system for some people.
It is. It's gaining popularity as people rethink their car usage.
Right.
Now let's talk about the holy grail of car insurance discounts.
Ooh, yes.
The no claims bonus.
The reward for being a responsible, accident-free driver.
Exactly.
I bet this is a big one for saving those precious pounds.
It is a powerful incentive for safe driving.
Okay.
For every year you drive without making a claim, you build up this bonus.
Yeah.
Which can lead to substantial discounts on your premiums.
Love that safer roads, lighter wallet.
It's a win-win.
Win-win, absolutely. What happens if we have to make a claim?
Okay.
Does that mean our no claims bonus goes up in smoke?
That's a valid concern.
Right.
And the impact of a claim on your no claims bonus can vary.
Right.
Depending on your insurer and policy.
Okay.
Some insurers offer something called protected no claims bonus.
Okay.
Which means you can make a certain number of claims without losing your discount.
Oh, right.
So explore these options. Factor them into your decision.
Okay, so do your homework.
Yes.
Choose an insurer that offers some flexibility.
Definitely.
In those kind of unfortunate situations.
Yes.
What other hidden gems does the article reveal?
Here's a simple but often overlooked tip. Pay your insurance annually instead of monthly.
Really? Why does that make a difference?
You'd be surprised how much those monthly installments can add up.
Oh, okay.
Many insurers charge interest on those payments, so paying in one lump sum up front can often save you a bit of cash.
That's a great tip. I never would have thought of that.
It's like bulk buying.
Yeah, like those bulk discounts you see at the supermarket. Buy more, save more.
Exactly.
I like it. Okay. Anything else?
And finally, don't forget to explore those discount opportunities.
Ooh, yes. Tell me about the discounts.
Some insurers offer special rates for students.
Okay.
Those who've completed advanced driving courses.
Great.
Or even for cars that are equipped with extra security features.
So it pays to be a good student, a skilled driver, and have a top-notch car alarm system.
It does.
Yeah. I like how this all ties together.
It all comes together.
Now, before we move on to the final stretch of this deep dive,
Yes.
I'm curious, what stood out to you the most from all these money-saving strategies?
I think what's fascinating to me is the rise of telematics insurance.
Yeah.
It's a real game changer, especially for young drivers.
Yeah.
Allows them to break free from those stereotypical risk assessments,
Uh-huh.
prove their safe driving habits.
Yeah.
Plus, it encourages a more mindful approach to driving,
Right.
which benefits everyone on the road.
I agree. I think that's definitely one of the most interesting ones, but I also think those simple tips,
Yeah.
like paying annually, shopping around for discounts, are often overlooked.
Yes, they are.
Can really make a difference.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive and informed.
Absolutely.
Now, before we wrap up this segment,
Yeah.
I want to emphasize that this is just the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
There's so much more to explore in the world of car insurance.
You're right. We've covered a lot of ground, but there's always more insights to uncover.
Yes.
More strategies to explore.
Uh-huh.
And more ways to navigate this complex world
Absolutely.
with confidence.
Yes.
So when we come back, we'll delve into some bonus tips.
Okay.
Wrap up this deep dive with a thought-provoking challenge
Love it.
for all you road warriors out there, so stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive all about car insurance for those of you young drivers out there.
We've got some bonus tips.
Ooh, bonus tips. I love a bonus tip.
It's like a little extra treat.
Like finding hidden treasure. All right, what gems have we missed?
Well, the first one is a golden rule for anything finance-related. Shop around.
Okay.
Don't settle for the first insurance quote that you get.
Right.
Use comparison websites, talk to different insurers, explore all your options.
That is such a good point. It's so easy to just go with the first one you see.
It is tempting.
Yeah, but taking that time to compare can really save you a lot of money.
Yeah, turns it to pounds potentially.
Absolutely. I've definitely learned that lesson the hard way in the past.
We've all been there.
Yeah, okay, so shop around, don't be lazy.
Exactly.
What's next?
Okay, this next tip might be a bit tough to swallow for some car enthusiasts out there.
I have a feeling this one might be directed at me and my inner speed demon.
Possibly.
Hit me with it.
Okay, the article advises resisting the urge to heavily modify your car.
Okay.
So while those tricked out rides might turn heads,
Yeah.
they can also send your insurance premiums skyrocketing
So why is that? Why do modifications affect those premiums so much?
because they often make a car more expensive to repair or replace.
Right.
And some modifications, particularly those that increase a car's performance,
Yeah.
can be seen as increasing the risk of accidents.
Right.
So a heavily modified car tends to raise those red flags for insurers.
So it's a bit of a trade-off. That souped-up engine might be fun to drive, but it comes with a price tag.
It does.
Okay.
Makes sense. Anything else?
Okay, and this last one might seem obvious, but it's always worth repeating.
Okay.
Drive safely.
Good advice.
But how does that translate into lower insurance premiums?
Yeah.
Well, it all comes back to building up that no claims bonus.
Right.
The longer you drive without any incidents, the lower those premiums will become.
So it really is a win-win situation.
It really is.
Amazing how all these tips connect back to being a responsible and mindful driver.
Yeah, it's not just about saving money.
Yeah.
It's about creating a safer environment for everyone.
Couldn't agree more.
Wow.
All right, so to wrap things up, we've explored the different types of coverage.
We've learned about all those money-saving strategies.
Yeah.
And even had some bonus tips thrown in for good measure.
We did.
What would you say is the key takeaway from all of this?
I think the biggest takeaway is that car insurance, especially for young drivers, doesn't have to be a daunting financial burden.
Right.
You can navigate this world with a little knowledge.
Absolutely.
Some savvy strategies.
Yeah.
And a commitment to safe driving.
I completely agree. And I think that's what we really wanted to get across in this episode.
Yeah.
It's about taking control.
Empowering yourself.
Exactly. You have more control over your insurance costs than you might think.
100%.
So we have a final thought for you guys.
I do.
Something to ponder as you start your car insurance journey.
Okay.
We talked about the benefits of advanced driving courses.
Yes, things like Pass Plus.
Right.
For getting those discounts.
Yeah.
But what if it's more than just a discount? Ooh, tell me more. What if it's an opportunity to really invest in yourself? To enhance those driving skills, boost your confidence behind the wheel, and become a truly exceptional driver?
That's such a good point. It's not just about saving money.
Yeah.
It's about becoming a better driver.
Exactly.
So your challenge, listeners, is to explore the world of advanced driving courses in the UK.
Do it.
You might be surprised by what you discover.
You might.
Not just in terms of potential savings, but also personal growth.
Yes.
And a deeper understanding of driving.
It's a journey.
It is. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into car insurance for young drivers.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you found it informative, maybe even a little bit inspiring, but most importantly, remember to stay safe, drive smart,
and enjoy the open road.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're going to be doing a deep dive today all about car insurance.
Oh, fun.
Well, maybe not fun, but important, right? Especially if you're a younger driver.
Definitely important.
Yeah. So we found this great article. It's from My Insurance Advice UK. It's called Temporary versus Annual Coverage for Young Drivers. And
catchy.
It is catchy. And it was published on November 27, 2024. So pretty recent and
very relevant.
Very relevant, and we know that this is a question we get a lot from our younger listeners.
Yeah, they're always asking, temporary versus annual coverage, which one should I choose?
Exactly, and I remember when I was younger, this was such a confusing topic for me.
Yeah, it can be a tough one to figure out.
So we're going to break it all down today.
Sounds good.
So first up, let's talk temporary car insurance.
All right, temporary car insurance. This is all about, flexibility. Think about those times when you just need a car for a short period.
Yeah, like if you're borrowing a car from a friend or family member.
Exactly. Or if you're going on a road trip or just, need a car for a few days or even a few hours.
Wait, you can get car insurance for just a few hours?
Those policies can be as short as an hour.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yep. Or they can go all the way up to 28 days.
So it's kind of like a little insurance bubble just for that short period of time.
Exactly. And it's totally separate from the car owner's insurance.
Which is great because I know when I was younger, I was always so nervous to borrow my parents' car.
Right. You didn't want to mess up their insurance.
Exactly. So this is a great way to be covered without affecting their policy.
Absolutely. And it's usually really quick to set up. You can opt to do it online in minutes.
That's awesome. So if you're a spontaneous kind of person and decide you need a car last minute,
you're covered.
You're good to go.
But there's always a but.
But let's talk about cost, because the article mentioned that temporary insurance can be pricey, especially for younger drivers.
Yeah, it can be quite a bit more expensive than an annual policy.
Okay. So how much more expensive are we talking?
Well, it'd be like 2 to 3 times higher. Yeah. So that's definitely something to keep in mind, especially if you're on a tight budget.
Okay. So convenience is great, but you really got to factor in that cost difference.
Exactly. And there are a couple of other things to think about, too, when it comes to temporary insurance, like the coverage might be a bit more limited.
Limited in what way?
Well, sometimes temporary policies don't cover things like fire, theft, vandalism.
Oh, right.
Yeah, those are usually included in a comprehensive annual policy. So if you're planning to drive a lot, that could be a concern.
I see. So it's kind of like choosing between a basic travel insurance plan for a weekend trip versus a more comprehensive one for like a month-long vacation.
Exactly. It all depends on your needs.
Right. And there's one more thing we got to talk about with temporary insurance, and that's the no claims bonus.
Ah, yes, the no claims bonus, or the NCB, as some people call it.
Yeah. So can you explain that for our listeners who might not be familiar with that term?
Sure. So basically, for every year you drive without making a claim, you get a discount on your insurance premium.
Well, that's cool.
It's like a reward for being a safe driver.
So it pays to be a good driver, literally.
Exactly. And those discounts can really add up over time, especially for young drivers who are just starting out.
So if you're thinking long-term, missing out on that no claims bonus with temporary insurance could actually end up costing you more down the line.
That's right. So temporary insurance, it's great for those short bursts of coverage, but it's important to be aware of the potential downsides.
Right. The cost difference, the limitations on coverage, and missing out on that no claims bonus.
Okay, so we've covered temporary insurance now. Let's switch gears and talk about annual car insurance.
Okay, annual car insurance, that's more like the traditional approach. You pay a premium up front and you're covered for a full year.
Exactly. No gaps, no worries.
That's reassuring. And it gives you that sense of, consistency, knowing that you're covered no matter what.
Exactly. It's the go-to choice for a lot of drivers, and for good reason.
And of course, with annual insurance, you get to build up that no claims bonus that we were just talking about.
Exactly. So that's a big plus. And you also typically get more comprehensive coverage with an annual policy.
Okay, so it sounds like annual insurance has a lot going for it. But what about the cost? Because I know a lot of young drivers might be worried about that initial upfront payment.
Yeah, that can be a bit daunting, especially when you're just starting out and have other expenses to worry about.
Right. So is there any way to make that initial payment more manageable?
A lot of insurers offer monthly payment plans.
Oh, that's good to know. So instead of paying one big lump sum,
you can spread it out over the year.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier to budget.
Definitely. And if you actually crunch the numbers, annual insurance often works out to be cheaper per day compared to relying on multiple temporary policies throughout the year.
Interesting. So thinking long-term can actually save you money.
Exactly. But of course, there is a potential downside to annual insurance, and that's flexibility.
Flexibility? How so?
Well, with an annual policy, you're locked in for a full year. So if your circumstances change...
Like if you move closer to work and don't need to drive as much.
Right. Or if you decide to sell your car, you're still committed to that insurance policy for the remainder of the year.
So it's a trade-off. You get the stability and comprehensive coverage, but you lose a bit of flexibility.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to really think about your individual needs and circumstances before making a decision.
Okay, so we've got a good understanding of the basics of both temporary and annual car insurance. We've talked about the pros and cons, the costs, the coverage. But now, how do we actually decide which option is right for our listeners?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in the next part of our deep dive.
Okay, so it's decision time, right? We've looked at both options, temporary and annual, and now it's like, okay, which one do I actually choose?
Right, like which one's the right fit for me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we even begin to figure that out?
Well, I think the first question you got to ask yourself is, how often are you actually going to be driving?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like, are you someone who's behind the wheel every single day?
Or just every once in a while?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you're only going to be driving occasionally, maybe just on weekends or borrowing a car here and there,
yeah,
then temporary insurance might make the most sense.
Makes sense to me, because why pay for a whole year if you're not going to use it, right?
Exactly. But then on the flip side, if you're a daily driver.
Yeah, if you're using your car for work or school.
Right, or just, running errands and going out and about.
Yeah, living life.
Exactly. Then that's when annual insurance starts to look a lot more appealing.
Okay, so driving frequency, it's a big one.
Huge.
But let's be real here. Another big factor is...
budget.
Budget, yeah.
Especially for young drivers. I mean...
car insurance can be expensive.
It can be a big chunk of change.
It really can. So what do you do if you know that upfront cost for annual insurance feels a bit overwhelming?
Well, that's when those monthly payment plans can be a lifesaver.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier.
Instead of having to fork over a huge amount all at once,
yeah,
you can break it down into smaller, more manageable payments.
Right. Like, it's like subscribing to a streaming service instead of paying for the whole year up front.
Exactly. You pay a smaller fee each month.
Yeah, and it just makes it a lot easier to fit into your budget.
Absolutely. So don't let that initial cost scare you away from annual insurance if it seems like the better option for your driving habits.
Okay, so we've talked about driving frequency, we've talked about budget. What's the next thing we need to consider?
Coverage.
Coverage. Okay.
How much peace of mind do you want when you're out there on the road?
Right. Like some people are okay with just the basic minimum coverage.
Yeah, just the bare minimum required by law.
Yeah. But others want that, that comprehensive package that covers all kinds of scenarios.
Right. They want to be prepared for anything.
So what are some of the things that comprehensive coverage would typically include?
Well, it would cover damage to your own car, of course.
Okay.
Things like if you get into an accident or, someone hits your parked car.
Right.
It would also cover theft, fire vandalism, even things like, if a drawn shopping cart runs into your car in a parking lot.
Wait, really? Shopping carts are covered?
Yep. Comprehensive insurance can be pretty amazing.
It's like having a superhero sidekick for your car.
Exactly. Always there to protect you.
But of course, that extra protection comes at a price, right?
It does. Comprehensive coverage usually costs more than just basic coverage.
So it's all about finding that balance between, your budget and how much peace of mind you want.
Exactly. You got to weigh the pros and cons.
Okay, so far so good. We've talked about driving, frequency, budget, and coverage. Those seem like the big three.
Definitely the key factors to consider.
But the article also had some really interesting tips specifically for young drivers who are trying to save money on car insurance.
Oh, yeah. There were some great nuggets in there.
Yeah, like one that really caught my eye was black box insurance. Have you heard of that?
Oh, yeah. Black box insurance. That's pretty cool.
So for those who haven't heard of it, can you explain how it works?
Sure. So basically, they install a little device in your car, and it tracks your driving habits.
Like Big Brother for your car?
Kind of, but in a good way, I swear.
Okay, so what kind of things does it track?
Well, it tracks things like your speed, how hard you brake,
Okay.
even the times of day you're driving.
So it's like a fitness tracker, but for your car.
Exactly. And the best part is if you're a safe driver,
You get rewarded.
you get rewarded with lower insurance premiums.
So it actually pays to be a good driver.
Literally.
Yeah.
And for young drivers who are often considered higher risk by insurance companies,
Yeah.
this can be a game changer.
Yeah, because it gives them a chance to prove that they're actually responsible drivers.
Exactly. And potentially get lower rates.
I love that idea. I wish they had that when I was a new driver.
Me too. It would have definitely made me more mindful behind the wheel.
Okay, so black box insurance, that's one way to potentially save some money. What else did the article suggest?
Well, another strategy is to consider increasing your excess.
Okay, the excess, can you remind us what that is again?
Sure. So your excess is the amount of money you agree to pay up front if you make a claim.
Right, so it's like your contribution before the insurance kicks in.
Exactly. And by choosing a higher excess, you can often lower your overall premium.
So you're basically taking on more risk yourself.
Right. You're saying, hey, I'm willing to pay more upfront if something happens.
Yeah, and in exchange, the insurance company gives you a lower premium.
Exactly. So it's a bit of a gamble.
It is, you're betting on yourself to be a safe driver.
Right. And if you are a safe driver and you don't have any accidents, then it could be a great way to save money.
But if you do have an accident,
You're going to have to shell out more cash up front.
yeah. So it's really important to think about your own driving skills and your financial situation before making that decision.
Definitely. And of course, there's always the classic advice.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
Shop around.
Shop around never gets old.
It's tried and true for a reason.
But why is it so important?
Because insurance premiums can vary so much from one company to the next.
Right. So what one company might quote you.
Another company might give you a completely different price.
So it really pays to do your research.
It does. And thankfully, we have these amazing things called comparison websites.
Comparison websites, yes, they are lifesavers.
They make it so easy to compare different quotes and see all your options side by side.
I remember spending hours on comparison websites when I was first getting car insurance.
That's like a treasure hunt.
It is. You're trying to find the best deal.
Exactly. And it's worth it to put in that time because you can end up saving a lot of money.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here, driving frequency, budget coverage, and all those great money-saving tips. But now the big question is, how do we bring all this information together to help our listeners make that final decision?
Okay, so we've talked about a lot, right? We've covered temporary insurance. We've covered annual insurance.
We've gone through all the pros and cons, all the things to consider.
all those little money-saving tips.
Yeah, we've really explored it all, haven't we?
We have. So now I think the big question is like, okay, I've heard all this information now.
Now what do I do?
Right? Like, how do I actually make this decision? Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that there's no one right answer.
Right, there's no magic formula.
Nope. It all depends on your individual circumstances,
Right.
your needs, your budget.
Like everyone's situation is a little bit different.
Exactly. So you got to take all this information and kind of apply it to your own life.
So let's try to break it down. Like if you're a casual driver,
Yeah. Someone who only drives occasionally.
maybe just a couple times a month.
Maybe you're borrowing a car. Or
Yeah, you're just using it for like errands or weekend trips.
then temporary insurance might be the way to go.
Yeah, it's like renting a car. You get it for a specific period of time and then you're done.
Exactly. You don't have that long-term commitment.
But on the other hand, if you're a frequent driver
Yeah, if you're using your car almost every day.
for work or school or just, life in general, then annual insurance often makes more sense.
Yeah, it's usually the more cost-effective option in the long run.
And you get that peace of mind knowing that you're always covered.
Exactly. And don't forget, you're building up that no claims bonus.
Right, which can save you money in the future.
Exactly. So it's
Yeah.
really about weighing those pros and cons and seeing what fits best for your lifestyle.
And remember, even within those categories, temporary and annual, there's so many different options.
Oh, yeah. Tons of different insurers out there.
Different coverage levels, different price points.
So it's super important to shop around.
Comparison websites, those are your best friends.
They make it so easy to compare different quotes.
And find the best deal.
Exactly. Don't just settle for the first quote you see.
Take some time, do your research.
It'll be worth it in the end.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay. I like it.
Think about how this choice, temporary versus annual,
Yeah.
how it might affect your overall sense of freedom as a young driver,
That's interesting.
right? Like, does having that year-round coverage with annual insurance,
Yeah.
does that make you feel more secure?
Like you can just go anywhere, do anything.
Exactly. Or does the flexibility of temporary insurance,
Yeah. Being able to just grab a car and go whenever you want.
does that feel more liberating?
I mean, it's almost like two different philosophies, right?
It is. It's like,
Two different approaches to life.
exactly. So
Yeah.
there's no right or wrong answer.
Nope. It's all about what feels right for you.
So as you embark on this car insurance journey,
Ooh, nice.
remember, it's not just about choosing a policy.
It's about choosing a lifestyle.
Ooh. I like that. Choose wisely, drive safely, and enjoy the ride.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive today.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope this has helped you understand the ins and outs of car insurance
All the little details.
and that you feel more confident making this decision.
Yes, informed decisions.
That's what it's all about.
All right, everyone, happy driving.
Take care.
Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more videos. Car insurance premiums have been a hot topic recently, as prices are seeing some fluctuations. While there's been a slight drop in the cost of cover recently, premiums still remain higher compared to the same time last year. Let's dive into what's happening in the market, why prices are behaving this way, and what it means for drivers. What's causing the recent drops? There are a few reasons why premiums might be edging down. 1. Increased competition among insurers. More companies are offering deals to attract customers, leading to competitive pricing. Technological advancements. Innovations in telematics, like black box insurance and data analysis, allow insurers to better assess risk, potentially lowering costs for safe drivers. 3. Regulatory changes. The Financial Conduct Authority, FCA, in the UK implemented a ban on price walking in 2022, meaning insurers can no longer charge existing customers more at renewal than they would new customers. This regulation aimed to level the playing field, encouraging insurers to rethink their pricing strategies. Why are prices still high compared to last year? Despite the slight dip in premiums, they remain elevated for several reasons. 1. Rising repair costs. The cost of vehicle repairs has soared due to supply chain disruptions and increased prices for car parts. This trend began during the pandemic and hasn't fully resolved. 2. Economic pressures. Inflation impacts everything, including insurance claims. Labor costs in garages, replacement parts, and administrative expenses have all gone up, and these costs get passed on to the policyholder. 3. Increase in accidents. As traffic levels return to pre-pandemic norms, insurers are handling more claims, driving up overall costs. 4. Fraudulent claims. Fraud, particularly staged accidents or exaggerated personal injury claims, remains a concern for insurers. These incidents increase payouts and drive up premiums across the board. What does this mean for drivers? For many drivers, this market volatility can be confusing. If your renewal quote seems higher than expected, You're not alone. Insurers are recalculating risks in real time, meaning premiums can vary widely even for similar drivers. How to make the most of this situation? Here are some tips to potentially lower your premium. 1. Shop around. Don't accept your renewal quote without first comparing prices. Use comparison sites to see if you can find a better deal. 2. Consider a black box policy. Telematics policies reward safe driving with lower premiums. If you drive carefully, this could save you money. 3. Increase your voluntary excess. Offering to pay a higher excess in the event of a claim can lower your annual premium. Just ensure you can afford it if you need to claim. 4. Reduce your mileage. If you're driving less than before, inform your insurer. Fewer miles usually mean less risk, and you might qualify for a discount. 5. Bundle policies. If you have multiple insurance needs, like home or life insurance, bundling them with one provider can sometimes result in discounts. 6. Secure your car. Adding features like an immobilizer, tracking device, or parking in a garage can reduce the risk of theft, which could lower your premium. Final thoughts. The car insurance market is in a state of flux. While there's some good news with premiums slightly dropping, the overall cost remains high. For drivers, the best approach is to stay informed, shop around, and take proactive steps to reduce perceived risks. Remember, a little effort in finding the right policy can lead to significant savings. Navigating car insurance doesn't have to be a hassle. It's all about staying ahead of the game. So, take control of your policy and don't hesitate to explore all your options. You deserve coverage that fits your needs and your budget. Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.
Have you ever dealt with the super frustrating experience of filing an insurance claim after an injury only to have it denied?
Oh, yeah. It's like insult to injury, right?
It definitely feels that way. Like you've hit a brick wall. But I want to reassure anyone listening, it's not game over just because that initial claim got denied.
Right.
There's still hope. And today, we're going to take a deep dive into what to do when that happens.
Where?
We're using this article from a UK insurance advice website as our guide.
All right. Sounds good.
We'll uncover maybe some surprising strategies, even arm you with some knowledge to give you an edge in any future claims.
Yeah, and what I think is interesting here is that a denial, it's not always the final word.
Right.
There's often multiple paths you can explore. But first, we got to kind of decode why insurance companies deny these claims in the first place.
Okay, so let's crack the code.
Exactly.
This article lays out 5 common reasons, kind of like understanding your opponent's playbook.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. The first hurdle is often coverage issues. So this means the specific injury that you had or the circumstances of the accident, they might not actually be covered under your policy.
So it's really important to know what your policy covers and what it doesn't.
Right.
Don't just assume.
Right. Next is we have delayed treatment.
Okay.
So if there's a gap, like significant gap, between when you got injured and when you actually got medical attention, the insurance company, they might question the severity or even the connection to the accident itself.
Yeah, I can see how that would raise a red flag
Right.
for them, you know?
Yeah.
It seems like they're always looking for a reason to minimize what they have to pay, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And this next one, this is where things get a little tricky. Disputed liability. This is when the insurer believes that maybe you share some or all of the blame for what happened.
So like in a car accident, for example.
Right.
They might argue that you were partially at fault.
Exactly. They'll often try to downplay the other party's negligence and, you know, kind of shift the blame to you.
Right.
And that's why things like police reports or witness statements, even photos from the scene of the accident can be crucial.
Yeah, so you're building your defense right from the get-go.
Right.
Okay, what about the next reason?
This was pretty common. Lack of documentation.
Okay.
Insurance companies, they rely on evidence, especially those medical records.
Right.
If you have incomplete or missing documentation, it could lead to a denial just because they don't have a clear picture of your situation.
So even if your injuries are totally legit,
Right.
like really bad record keeping can hurt you.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all about connecting the dots.
Right.
For them, you know, and providing that clear, compelling evidence. That's why it's so important to keep detailed medical records, gather any witness statements that you can, and document every conversation you have with the insurance company, like from the very beginning.
Okay, so evidence is king.
Yeah.
Got it. What's that final reason why they might deny a claim?
This one's a little bit tricky. Pre-existing conditions. So if you have a pre-existing health issue, the insurance company, they might try to argue that your current injury, it's not a result of the accident, but it's actually a continuation of this pre-existing condition that you already had.
So let's say you have a history of back problems.
Right.
And then you're in a car accident and it makes your back pain way worse.
Yeah.
They could just say, well, it's not related to the accident.
Exactly. It's a common tactic they use.
Yeah.
It minimizes their payout.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you're automatically out of luck.
Okay.
The key is proving that the accident actually worsened your condition. And this is where that meticulous medical documentation is so important.
So really detailed medical records, doctor statements, explaining how that accident specifically affected your, pre-existing thing.
Exactly.
Okay, so all that's really important.
Yeah, you need to show a clear link with the accident and the worsening of your condition. Sometimes getting a second opinion from a specialist can really help.
Oh, okay.
Especially if they could address the impact of the accident specifically.
Okay, so let's say the worst has happened. You've gotten that denial letter.
Yeah.
What's the first step? What do you do?
Most important thing, don't panic.
Okay.
And don't just toss it aside.
Don't just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, exactly. Grab a highlighter, put on your detective hat, because that denial letter, it's packed with clues
I love it.
about their reasoning.
So you're looking for keywords, phrases,
Exactly.
little hints that reveal their strategy.
Exactly. Often the language they use reveals weaknesses in their argument or areas where you might need to provide a little bit more evidence.
Okay, so it's like we're prepping for a legal battle.
Well, in a way, you are. But knowledge is power. And understanding their reasoning is the first step to building that strong counter-argument.
I like it. Okay, so we've decoded the reasons behind these annoying denials.
Yeah.
But let's get down to, what happens when your situation isn't so clear-cut? Like those but what if scenarios that keep you up at night.
Right. Real life is rarely textbook. So let's say you're dealing with a classic car accident, not your fault, but the other driver's insurance is giving you the runaround.
I can practically hear our listeners groaning right now because they've been there. It's like they make you jump through hoops even when you're the victim.
It happens more often than you think. But remember, you're not powerless. Go back to that denial letter. What's the basis of their argument? Are they trying to say you share some liability or maybe downplaying how bad your injuries really are?
Okay, and then I hit them back with my carefully documented evidence, right?
Exactly.
Police reports, witness statements, the whole 9 yards.
This is where your prep pays off. If they're saying, oh, your injuries aren't that bad, you hit them with those detailed medical records, doctor's statements, maybe even reports from specialists or physical therapists.
It was like, see? I wasn't exaggerating.
Right. Evidence beats their skepticism every time. And if they're trying to wiggle out of liability, that's where accident scene photos, witness statements, maybe even dash cam footage if you have it, those become your secret weapons.
So it's all about building that ironclad case brick by brick, leaving no room for doubt.
Absolutely. And don't forget, if the other driver was clearly at fault, you always have that option of going around their insurance entirely and filing a lawsuit directly against them.
Whoa, going straight to the source.
It can be a powerful move, especially if that insurance company is being completely unreasonable.
Please subscribe to our channel for more videos.
Yes, you're all set for that weekend getaway, bags packed, snacks ready, but your car decides to pull a disappearing act.
Oh, no.
Yeah, right. But then your friend steps in, offers their car like a true hero.
A knight in shining armor?
Right. Crisis averted, you'd think. But here's a question for you.
Okay.
Are you actually insured to drive their car?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that's what we're diving into today. Do you need insurance to be driving your friend's car in the UK?
It's a question that catches so many people out. They just sort of assume, well, my friend's got insurance, so I'm good.
Right.
But it's a little bit more complicated than that. And the UK law on this is very, very clear. To drive any vehicle on a public road, you absolutely must have valid insurance.
So no borrowing your mate's car for a quick dash to the shops without insurance. No exceptions.
Nope, not even for a second. It makes no difference if it's your best friend's car or you're just, moving a couple of feet. The law applies to absolutely everybody in all situations.
Okay, Point taken. But what about that driving other cars extension, that DOC thing? Isn't that kind of like a get-out-of-jail-free card for driving other people's cars?
Ah, the DOC extension. Sounds great in theory, but in reality, it's a very, very specific perk. And it often has quite a lot of limitations. First of all, it's not as common as you might think. You only actually find it on some comprehensive car insurance policies.
Right.
And even then, it usually only offers third-party coverage. So that means you're only covered for damage to other people's property or if you injure someone else, but not if you damage the actual car that you've borrowed.
So if I back into a post trying to parallel park my friend's car,
Yeah,
even with a DOC extension, I'm paying for the repairs.
exactly. And that's not all. The DOC coverage tends to come with age restrictions. Often if you're under 25, you won't be covered. So it's not a particularly reliable solution for younger drivers.
So basically, assuming that you're covered by your friend's insurance is a big no-no.
Yeah, don't do it. The risks are way too high to even think about it. And that's where temporary insurance comes in as a much safer and more practical option.
Okay, let's break down this temporary insurance thing.
Yeah.
What exactly is it and how does it work?
Well, imagine insurance on demand. So you need cover for a specific period of time. Could be a day, a week, or even up to a month. That's where temporary insurance comes in.
Right.
It's super flexible. You only pay for the time you need the car, which makes it really handy. And often it works out cheaper than other options, especially for short-term borrowing.
So no need to commit to a long-term insurance plan.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a plus.
And the best part is you can usually get covered online in a matter of minutes. No hanging about, no loads of paperwork.
Right.
Lots of providers offer this, and the application process is usually pretty straightforward.
Okay.
You just enter a few basic details, choose your coverage level, and boom, you're insured.
That sounds super convenient.
Yeah.
But is the coverage as comprehensive as a standard car insurance policy?
Yeah.
Like, am I actually protected if something happens?
Well, that's what makes temporary insurance really stand out. It often offers comprehensive cover. So that means you're not just covered for damage to other people and their property, that's third-party liability, but you're also covered for damage to the car you've borrowed. So that little fender bender, covered.
Okay.
Scrape the bumper while parking, covered.
That's a huge relief. No more awkward conversations about splitting repair costs with your friend.
Precisely. And another great thing is any claims that you make on a temporary policy, they don't affect your friend's no claims bonus.
Okay, right.
Their insurance history stays completely clean.
It sounds like temporary insurance is a win-win. It's legal, it's flexible, it's comprehensive, and it protects your friend's insurance record. What's not to love?
It's a really smart move in many situations. I had a friend who once borrowed a car for a weekend away, and they thought they were covered under the owner's insurance. Turns out they weren't. They had a small accident, and they ended up having to pay quite a lot of money for the repairs. And it really put a strain on their friendship.
Yeah.
If they just sorted out temporary insurance, the whole situation would have been so much less stressful and expensive.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of why sorting out the insurance is absolutely crucial. Peace of mind and potentially saving a friendship, can't put a price on that.
Absolutely. But before we declare temporary insurance the outright winner, let's look at another option which might be a good fit for some people who are borrowing a car. That's the named driver option.
Right, the classic add me to your policy scenario.
Yeah.
So how does that work and how does it compare to temporary insurance?
Okay, well, being a named driver on your friend's policy means you're officially included in their insurance coverage. Your friend would need to contact their insurer and add you to the policy. This can actually work out to be a good deal if you're borrowing the car very regularly, as it could be more cost-effective in the long run.
So if you and your friend are essentially sharing a car, it might make sense to go down this road.
Exactly. But here's the catch. Adding a named driver, especially one who's relatively new to driving or has had a few claims in the past, can really bump up your friend's premium.
So it's not just about convenience, it directly impacts your friend's wallet.
Absolutely. And unlike temporary insurance where you're covered for a fixed period,
Yeah.
being a named driver is ongoing. So your friend is going to be paying that higher premium for as long as you're on the policy, even if you're not actually using the car at that time.
So it's a much bigger commitment, both financially and in terms of time.
It is, yeah. And there's one more important point. If you as a named driver have an accident, any claims are going to go through your friend's insurance. And this could potentially affect their no claims bonus and bump up their premiums in the future.
Wow, that's a big deal. So even if it's on my car, my driving record can mess with my friend's insurance.
That's the reality of being a named driver, yeah. It's shared responsibility, shared risk.
So deciding between temporary insurance and being a named driver, really comes down to how often you'll be borrowing the car, the level of risk involved, and how much both you and your friend are willing to commit financially.
Absolutely. Temporary insurance offers flexibility and keeps the risks separate, whereas being a named driver might be easier on your wallet if you borrow the car a lot. But it involves that shared responsibility and the potential impact on your friend's insurance history.
All right, so we've covered the legal stuff, the temporary insurance route, and the named driver option. But what about those people who think they can just wing it and drive without any insurance? What sort of risks are they taking?
Now we're getting to the serious stuff.
Yeah.
Driving without insurance in the UK, it's not just a minor slip-up. It's a full-blown criminal offense with some pretty heavy consequences.
Okay, time for a dose of reality. Lay it on us.
Okay, first up, you're looking at a hefty fine, at least £300.
Oh, wow.
And that's just for starters. You'll also get 6 penalty points on your license. And for new drivers, those 6 points could mean losing their license altogether, especially since they only need to get 6 points in the first 2 years after passing their test.
Right.
And guess what? It doesn't end there.
Well, if there's more.
Oh, yes. In more serious cases, you could end up in court, where the fines are unlimited and you could even get a driving ban. Think about the impact that would have on your life, your job, your freedom. It's just not worth the risk.
That's a pretty sobering thought. And we haven't even touched upon the financial nightmare if you have an accident while you're uninsured.
You're right. If you're uninsured and you cause an accident, you are personally liable for any damage to other vehicles, property, and worst of all, to other people. We're talking potentially life-changing costs here. Repairs, medical bills, legal fees, the lot.
Let's paint a picture for our listeners. Say you're driving uninsured and unfortunately you cause an accident. It results in significant damage to another car, and the other driver is injured.
Well, in that situation, you're not only facing those legal consequences we talked about, but you're also personally responsible for the entire financial cost of the accident. You could be looking at tens of thousands of pounds in repair costs, medical bills, and potential legal settlements.
Yeah.
It could wipe you out financially.
It's a stark reminder that insurance isn't just about following the law. It's about protecting yourself and other people from a potential financial catastrophe.
It's your safety net, your shield against the unexpected. And let's be honest, the cost of insurance is tiny compared to the potential cost of driving without it.
Okay, so we've established that driving uninsured is a hard pass. But what about emergencies? You know, those situations where you need to borrow a car in a hurry? Surely there's an exception to the rule then, right?
It's a really common misconception that in an emergency, you don't need insurance. But the law's the law. You need insurance to drive no matter what. No exceptions.
So no matter how urgent the situation is, jumping into a friend's car without insurance is still a legal and financial risk.
Absolutely. The risks don't just disappear because it's an emergency. And the good news is these days, getting temporary insurance is so quick and easy. There's just no reason to drive uninsured even if you're in a rush.
Okay, that's good to know. So even if I'm rushing someone to the hospital or need to pick up an emergency prescription, taking a few minutes to get temporary insurance online could save me a whole lot of trouble.
Think of it this way. Those few minutes that you spend getting insured could prevent years of financial hardship and legal headaches. It's a small investment for a huge amount of peace of mind.
Right. All right, we've busted the emergency exception myth wide open. Now let's dig a little deeper into this temporary insurance. What are the key things that determine how much a temporary policy costs?
Well, just like standard car insurance, temporary insurance premiums are calculated based on a number of different factors.
Right.
And these factors help insurers work out the level of risk involved and set the premium accordingly.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal.
No, not at all. One of the biggest factors is the driver's age. Younger drivers are statistically more likely to be involved in accidents, so their premiums are usually higher. It all comes down to how insurers assess risk.
Makes sense. What else plays a role?
Well, your driving history is another really important one. Any past claims or points on your license can increase the premium because, well, they suggest a higher chance of future incidents.
So a clean driving record not only keeps you safe on the road, but also helps to keep your insurance costs down. Win-win.
Absolutely. And then you've got the type of car you're borrowing. Higher value or high-performance cars are just more expensive to insure because of the higher repair costs and the risk of theft.
So borrowing your friend's fancy sports car might come with a heftier insurance price tag than going for their trusty family hatchback.
Exactly. And finally, the length of coverage also plays a part.
Okay.
Longer coverage periods naturally cost more because you're exposed to risk for a longer time.
So whether I need the car for a couple of hours or a few weeks, the length of my temporary insurance will affect the price.
Exactly. Understanding these factors can help you to anticipate the potential cost of temporary insurance and make good decisions about borrowing a car.
This has been super insightful. We've covered a lot of ground, from the legal must-knows to the nitty-gritty of temporary insurance. But let's get down to the practicalities. How do you actually go about getting temporary insurance when you need it? Is it a complicated process?
No, thankfully, it's become incredibly straightforward. Most providers have online applications that are designed to be really quick and easy to use. You can usually get a quote and be covered in just a few minutes.
That's good to hear, especially if you need insurance in a hurry.
Absolutely. You typically just need to provide some basic information like your personal details, your driving history, the car's registration number, and how long you need the cover for. And then the provider calculates your premium based on all those factors we were talking about earlier.
So no stacks of paperwork or endless phone calls?
No, not at all. It's all streamlined and digital. And once you've paid, your coverage is usually active straight away, so you can legally hit the road right away.
That's seriously convenient. Any tips on finding reliable temporary insurance providers in the UK?
Yeah, there are a number of really well-established providers that specialize in temporary car insurance. A quick online search will give you a good list to start with. It's always a good idea to compare quotes from a few different providers to make sure you're getting the best deal.
Solid advice. So, we've got the legal stuff sorted, we've explored the insurance options, and we know how to get covered quickly. But before we wrap things up, let's talk about best practices for borrowing a friend's car. What are some key tips to make sure it's a smooth and safe experience for everyone involved?
Well, borrowing a car, even from a close friend, it comes with certain responsibilities. Clear communication and mutual respect are absolutely essential to avoid any misunderstandings or potential arguments.
So it's not just about the car, it's about keeping the friendship intact.
Exactly. Before you even ask to borrow the car, think about whether you really need to. Could you manage with other transport? Or could you share driving with your friend?
Sometimes we jump to borrowing without considering other options.
It happens. And if you do decide to ask, be upfront about why you need the car, how you'll be using it, and how long for.
No vague requests or last-minute surprises. Got it.
Exactly. Honesty and transparency are crucial for building trust. And be respectful of your friend's decision, even if they say no.
Right. It's their car, their choice. Respecting their boundaries is paramount.
Absolutely. Now, if they do agree to lend you the car, be crystal clear about the insurance arrangements. Don't just assume anything. Make sure you're clear whether you'll be added as a named driver or if you need to sort out temporary insurance.
No room for assumptions when it comes to legal and financial responsibilities.
Exactly. Also, make sure you understand any specific rules or preferences your friend might have about their car. Do they have a favorite petrol station? Are there any parking restrictions? Things like that.
Those little details can make all the difference to having a smooth and positive borrowing experience.
Absolutely. It's all about showing your friend that you respect them, their car, and their trust.
What about after you've borrowed the car? Any tips for a smooth return?
Yeah, well, returning the car in the same condition you received it is obviously essential. Fill up the petrol tank, clean out any rubbish, and be honest about any little scratches or incidents, even if they seem insignificant.
So honesty and transparency are key, even if it's a little ding you'd rather ignore.
It's all about taking responsibility and respecting your friend's property. And a little gesture of thanks can go a long way too. A thank you card, a small gift, or even just offering to help them out with something in return.
It's those little acts of kindness that really make friendships stronger.
Exactly. By approaching car borrowing with respect, open communication, and a genuine desire to maintain a good friendship, we can ensure that it's a positive experience for everybody involved.
Well said. It's a great reminder that borrowing a car is more than just a transaction. It's a chance to strengthen bonds and show we care about the people in our lives.
Absolutely. Now, let's shift gears a little and dive into some of the more technical aspects of car insurance, particularly those tricky terms and conditions that often leave people scratching their heads.
Time to decode some insurance jargon.
Okay, let's start with a term we've mentioned briefly, third-party liability. This is the absolute minimum level of car insurance required by law in the UK, and it covers you if you cause damage to someone else's property or if you injure someone while driving.
So it protects other people from you, but not necessarily you from yourself.
That's right. Third-party insurance doesn't cover any damage to the car you're driving or any injuries to yourself.
So if I'm borrowing my friend's car and I accidentally back into a lamppost, even with third-party insurance, I'm responsible for the repairs.
Yes, you are. That's why it's so important to understand the limitations of the different levels of cover.
What other types of cover are there?
Well, the next level up is third-party, fire, and theft. This gives you the same protection as third-party liability, but it also covers damage to the car if it's stolen or damaged by fire.
Okay, so if the borrowed car is caught in a fire or stolen from the driveway, I'm covered for the loss.
That's right, but it still wouldn't cover damage that you caused to the car yourself, through your own driving.
Okay, so what about cover for that?
Well, the most comprehensive level of coverage is called, you guessed it, comprehensive insurance. And it really lives up to its name because it offers the widest protection. It covers damage to the car, no matter who's at fault, as well as third-party liability, fire, and theft.
So if I accidentally scrape the car against a wall or have a little fender bender, I'm covered for those repairs.
Exactly. Comprehensive insurance offers the most peace of mind because it protects you from the widest range of potential incidents.
It does sound like the ultimate safety net. But is it much more expensive than the other options?
Well, it does usually come with a higher premium, yes. But that added protection and peace of mind can be well worth the extra costs, especially when you're driving somebody else's car.
It's all about weighing up the risks and the benefits and choosing the level of cover that makes sense for you and your situation.
Absolutely. And talking of situations, there's another insurance term you should be familiar with, excess.
Excess? Was that like a bonus?
Not quite. Excess is the amount of money you have to pay towards a claim before the insurance company pays the rest.
Okay, so if the excess on a policy is £500 and I have an accident that causes £2,000 worth of damage, I have to pay the first £500 and the insurance company covers the remaining £1,500.
That's it, yeah. The excess amount can change depending on the policy and the driver. Younger drivers and those with previous claims often have higher excesses.
So it's another important thing to consider when comparing different insurance options.
Definitely. Make sure you're clear about the excess amount and that you can actually afford to pay it if you need to make a claim.
Wow, we just had a crash course in car insurance jargon. We've cleared up some of the key terms and highlighted how important it is to understand what you're covered for and what your responsibilities are.
You know what they say, knowledge is power, especially in the world of insurance.
So we've covered the legal side of things, the human element, and the technical aspects of insurance. What else do our listeners need to know to ensure they have a smooth and responsible experience when borrowing a car?
Okay, let's focus on some practical tips and potential pitfalls to watch out for. One common mistake that people make is assuming their own car insurance automatically covers them to drive any car.
Right, we debunked that myth earlier. It's your friend's insurance that's important, not yours.
Exactly. And even if your policy does have a driving other cars extension, you need to understand the limitations, especially the restriction to third-party cover and the potential age limits.
So then, assuming I'm automatically covered for damage to the borrowed car just because I've got my own insurance?
Exactly. Another common pitfall is forgetting to tell your friend's insurance company that you're going to be driving their car.
Isn't that only really relevant if I'm being added as a named driver?
Well, yes. But even for temporary borrowing, it's a good idea to check with your friend whether their insurer needs to know. Some policies might have specific rules about temporary drivers, or they might need extra information about your driving history.
So it's all about being transparent and making sure everyone's in the loop.
Right. And while we've talked about the advantages of temporary insurance, there are a few potential downsides to watch out for as well.
Oh, do tell.
Well, some temporary insurance policies might have exclusions for certain types of car usage, like using the car for business purposes or for commuting.
So if I'm planning to use my friend's car for a work trip, I need to double check my temporary policy covers that.
Absolutely. And keep an eye out for any mileage limits. Some policies might restrict how many miles you can drive while you're covered.
Okay, so if I'm planning a long road trip, I need to make sure I'm within the mileage allowance.
Exactly. It's all about reading the small print and making sure the policy is right for what you'll be using the car for.
This has been incredibly helpful. We've covered so much ground, from the importance of communication and respect to the ins and outs of different insurance policies and potential pitfalls to avoid.
I think we've given our listeners a comprehensive toolkit to help them navigate the world of car borrowing safely and responsibly.
Stay tuned for the final part of this episode, where we'll wrap up our deep dive with some concluding thoughts and key takeaways.
We'll leave you with some empowering advice and encourage you to keep exploring this really important topic. making sure you're well-informed and confident behind the wheel, whether you're in your own car or borrowing a friend's.
Until then, drive safe and drive smart. Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've been looking at all the things you need to know about borrowing a friend's car here in the UK.
Yeah, we've covered the legal side of things, looked at the different insurance options, and even shared some practical tips to make sure the whole borrowing experience goes smoothly.
Now let's wrap things up with a few final words of wisdom to make sure our listeners are fully prepared to hit the road safely and responsibly.
You know, it's amazing how many people don't think about putting things in writing, even when they're borrowing a car from a mate.
You mean like having a formal agreement? Doesn't that seem a bit over the top for a casual car loan between friends?
It might seem that way, but honestly, it can prevent a lot of problems and misunderstandings later on. Even just a simple agreement that sets out the terms of the borrowing, the dates, how the car is going to be used, insurance details, any agreements about fuel or mileage, it can be really helpful.
So it's about creating a clear record, even if it's just a friendly arrangement.
Exactly. It just adds a layer of transparency and protection for both the person borrowing the car and the person lending it. And speaking of protection, it's important to remember to drive responsibly, no matter whose car you're behind the wheel.
You're right. It's easy to get caught up in all the logistics of borrowing and forget about the core responsibility of being a safe and considerate driver.
Absolutely. When you're driving a borrowed car, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing the owner of the car too. Their reputation is at stake, and maybe even their insurance premiums.
So it's about being extra careful and realizing that your actions have implications for other people, not just you.
Exactly. Follow the rules of the road, be mindful of other drivers, and avoid anything risky that could put the car or anyone else in danger.
Excellent advice. Before we go, let's go back to the question we started with. Do you need insurance to drive your friend's car in the UK?
As we've seen, the answer is a definite yes. The law is very clear on this. No insurance, no driving, no exceptions.
And luckily, there are easy and affordable ways to make sure you're covered without emptying your bank account or affecting your friend's insurance.
Yeah, temporary insurance and the named driver option both have their pros and cons, and the right option really depends on your individual situation.
We've given our listeners all the info they need to make good choices and navigate this sometimes confusing area with confidence.
Remember, knowledge is power. And in this case, it's also about protection. Protecting yourself, your friends, and everybody else on the road.
This deep dive has been all about taking the mystery out of car borrowing, debunking those common myths, and giving our listeners the tools they need to be responsible and well-informed, whether they're the one borrowing a car or the one lending it.
We've looked at the legal side of things, the money side, the technical bits, and even the human side of this important topic.
And as we wrap up this episode, we want to leave you with one last thought. Borrowing a car is a privilege. It's a sign of trust, and it's a chance to show respect and responsibility.
By remembering those things and by making sure we know all the facts, we can ensure that every car journey, whether it's in our own car or a friend's, is a safe, legal, and enjoyable one.
Drive safely, drive responsibly, and remember, knowledge is the key to a smooth and secure ride. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.